If Curtis Jones was called Curti Jonas, had a Spanish passport, and was playing for Barcelona or Real Madrid, people would put him in line to be a future Ballon d'Or winner. In reality, he's just a Scouse lad who came through the Liverpool academy. And that's maybe why people, including some of the Red supporters, do not appreciate the kind of talent the 23-year-old midfielder has. Now you're probably thinking, we're only hyping Jones after his performance against Chelsea. After all, why should we be praising a player with just 2 league starts so far this season? Right? Well, if you've been following us here on Panenka for a while, you would already know that we've already regarded Jones up to a high standard. From his performances last season under Jurgen Klopp to why we thought he'd be a key player under Arne Slot, we tried to prove our point about Jones on different occasions. Today is another opportunity to highlight why Curtis Jones is a unique type of player, from his press resistance to his athleticism, and why he'll be key under Arne Slot. So hit that like and subscribe button and let's jump straight into our video. You see, some players do not need to be racking up goals and assists to consistently impact games or even improve a whole team. And that's what Curtis Jones does. The biggest proof to this was the 2022-2023 campaign, a season many of you would want to forget given how Klopp and the management failed to address the aging midfield issue. After the first 29 league games, Liverpool were sitting at 7th place with 9 losses and 7 draws. And in that exact period, Curtis Jones only appeared 7 times, starting just 1 game. However, and precisely against Chelsea, which coincided with Curtis Jones' start, the Red season saw a turnaround that helped the team remain unbeaten for the remainder of the campaign and narrowly miss out on the top 4 spot. The early stages of last season was no different, as Jones was a key cog alongside Dominik Szoboszlai to announce the arrival of Klopp's Liverpool 2.0. That was mainly due to the player's ability to bring back the pressing intensity and high work rate the likes of Henderson and Milner started to lose. But the role Jones played under Klopp looks completely different to the one he's currently had under Slot. See, we all know that Jones is an extremely versatile player, capable of playing as a number 8 or on the flanks. However, it was evident from the pre-season tour under the new gaffer that Jones was going to play a different role. Across the friendly games, Jones appeared to play as the second pivot player alongside Endo and Gravenberch. It wasn't a completely new position for the midfielder, but we were not used to seeing him occupy those deep areas as he usually started as a high number 8 under Klopp. So why is this a change in position? Well, it's simple. It goes back to 2 key attributes the player possesses that we already mentioned earlier. The first being his press resistance. See, it's a term that has been thrown around in recent years, even to describe players who do not deserve such label. But it's fair to say that Jones is one of the most press-resistant players in the world right now. His technique, composure, first touch, and ability to manipulate the ball with both feet make it so tough for opposition players to dispossess him. You can almost always count on him to not only keep the ball using his body to shield it and his arms to stroke players away, but also to get away from tricky situations and tight spaces using his technique and burst of speed and power. Now, some people might argue that he does in fact lose the ball on multiple occasions and sometimes can take too long to release the ball, but that's just a result of him being tasked to take on pressure and try to beat it in order to create space and time for his teammates by dragging multiple players from the opposition team. In fact, to have the willingness to keep the ball under pressure and go on to drive through, shrugging players off, is a proof to the player's mentality of being prepared to take the responsibility of losing the ball but keeping on going again and again. Now, although Jones started just 2 league games and made 5 appearances in total, he is averaging 0.8 successful dribbles per game while committing no errors, leading up to a shot or a goal for the opposition. Now, in addition to his ability to resist pressure and take on multiple players, Slot is using Jones in the second pivot role to utilize another attribute the player has. See, his technical skill has not been limited to his dribbling. The player can basically receive the ball anywhere on the pitch from different angles and no matter how many players surround him, and then he can either progress it through his carrying or using his passing ability to do the same or circulate possession. Since he's yet to play enough minutes this season, the stats you're seeing on the screen are from last campaign. You can notice he ranks high when it comes to touches in the middle and final thirds, in addition to the opposition's penalty area. It's also evident how he's capable of carrying the ball forward, looking at his carries in the final third and progressive carrying distance per 90 minutes. His passing, as we mentioned earlier, has always been tidy, finishing last season season with 91.1% pass completion rate, including 5.71 progressive passes per 90 minutes. This season is no different, as the player is averaging 22.6 accurate passes per game, which takes his percentage up to 93%. You see, while Gravenberch is tasked with being the first receiver from the back line, quickly turning to face the play and bomb forward, Jones acts as the second and higher player that can be an outlet when passes to Gravenberch is impossible. This is doable thanks to the player's ability to receive anywhere and then manage to keep and progress the ball higher up the pitch. Now, what we've been discussing is only limited to the player's skills when the Reds are in possession of the ball. So what extra does he bring to the side when we are defending? Well, this one might sound controversial, but we actually believe that Jones should be starting the big games instead of McAllister in the double pivot. Now, don't get us wrong, we do not mean that Macca should be benched, absolutely not. We're talking about games where the opposition teams will look to keep the majority of the possession and attempt to progress the ball on the ground. In these cases, Jones should form the double pivot alongside Gravenberch and let McAllister or Szoboszlai start higher up the pitch. Why is that? The key word would be athleticism. See, so far this season there has been a lot of question marks around Arne Slot's approach out of possession. Sure, the Reds currently have the best defensive record in the league, and we're not conceding big chances after big chances. However, there have been this issue of how passive the front line has been, which was the reason why Chelsea looked comfortable with the ball. Using the usual 4-2-4 shape without the ball, the front four players tried to cover the passes into the opposition's pivot. Meanwhile, and specifically in the Chelsea game, Gravenberch and Jones were tasked with making the jump once those passes are made. However, the Blues managed to create an overload in the midfield, with either Palmer dropping deep on the right-hand side or Gusto inverting into the left. This forced one of the pivots to either stick to his pivot player and allow the pass to wide areas, or do the opposite and allow central progression. So if this has already happened against Chelsea with Jones on the pitch, what difference does it make if we start McAllister? Isn't the issue more related to the structure and the manager's approach more than the actual players on the pitch? Well, true, but again, the key word here is athleticism. Against the Blues, we often saw Jones allow the pass to Palmer on the right-hand side before bursting out in full speed to catch up with the player and stop him from progressing the ball. This is what gives Jones the upper hand on McAllister in these situations. The Argentinian, despite his bite and high work rate without the ball, he still doesn't have the physical ability to explode and cover enough ground the way Curtis Jones does. As long as Arne Slot sticks to his passive approach without the ball, Jones should definitely start in the double pivot, especially against top sides, as physicality can make or break points in such games. Sure, some might bring up Jones's inconsistency when it comes to performances, but can you really remain consistent without a proper run of games and without multiple injuries taking place? Hopefully now, with the player being fully fit and used in the same position regularly, we might get to see Curtis Jones start to fulfill his potential, further confirming our point that he will be a crucial player for Arne Slot. So what do you think? Do you agree with us that Jones is going to be a key player for Arne Slot? Do you think he should be starting the big games? Or is the player just being overhyped just because of his performance against Chelsea? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, and if you enjoyed today's video, why not hit the like and subscribe button for more Liverpool content? Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Peace.